Hey everyone, I wanted to let you know about some changes we're making to Momentum this year and invite you to be part of it. You know, the world is a very different place these days. Between the civil unrest, the hostile political climate, and that little thing known as a global pandemic, a lot has changed. But there's one thing that hasn't changed. It's actually been the same for 2,000 years. And that's our responsibility as followers of Christ. Because on the final night of his life, Jesus gathered his followers and said, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, as I have loved you, that you also love one another." And if you think that's tough to do today, just look at what life was like back in Jesus' day. The people were ruled by the Roman Empire, one of the most brutal and barbaric in history. Racial and cultural discrimination were the norm, and because medicine was less science and more superstition, everyone was just one bad break away from death. And it was into that climate, one filled with hate, with division, and with fear, that Jesus gave a lasting commandment, to love one another as he loved us. Now here we are in 2020, the craziest year ever, and we, the followers of Jesus, once again find ourselves faced with a turbulent environment on one hand and a standing command to love on the other. Now, what are we going to do about it? Well, that's where Momentum comes in. Momentum is an annual conference that since 2013 has taken place every year in February. But a year ago, we decided to move it to June in the hopes of having better weather outside. And while the weather is certainly better these days, I don't think anyone would say that the climate is. So to me, it's clear God had a plan. He wanted to move it for a different reason. He knew what the world would look like today and the importance of this message right now. And that's why we are moving ahead with Momentum despite all of the challenges of creating a virtual event versus an in-person one. Now, I realize that the last thing anyone wants to do these days is sit in front of a computer for an entire weekend. I know we're all a little zoomed out, but this is going to be different. Being virtual actually allows us to do more with less. So instead of the traditional 3-day conference, we're packing it all in to one action-packed day. That not only saves you time, it saves you money as well. Registration is only $20 per person, no travel costs, no meals, no accommodations. In addition, being virtual gives us the chance to invite speakers that we might not get to hear from otherwise. One of the speakers who is joining us will be someone whose work I've personally admired for years, Mr. Stephen Christoforo, the Director of Youth and Young Adult Ministries, or Y2AM, for the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America. He's also known as the Be the Bee guy from the videos. You'll also get to hear from Sarah Byrne Martelli, a palliative care chaplain at Massachusetts General Hospital, who also studied at Harvard Divinity School and hosts a podcast on Ancient Faith Radio called The Wounded Healer. And those are just our main sessions. We have a great lineup of guests from across the globe joining us for breakout sessions as well. It all comes together on Saturday, June 27th, a one-day event centered around one question: what does love require? In the midst of chaos, unrest, and fear all around, we might not always know what to think or what to believe, but according to Jesus, the real question we need to wrestle with is, what does love require me to do? I hope you'll join me as we seek to answer that very question. Go to www.hopemultiplied.org to sign up today.